Somewhere in Perth this morning, a tradie in his 30s is sitting across from a finance manager. He's about to sign on a $60,000 Hilux. He's a half hour into paperwork that feels like admin. It isn't. By the time he walks out, he'll be $4,800 lighter than the customer who sat in that chair before him. Same dealer, same finance manager, same paperwork, different outcome. Here's the math by the line, the room, the finance manager's office. If you watch my first video, you'll remember me telling you there are 3 commissioned salespeople you negotiate against. The one you see on the floor and 2 you don't. Today, the 3rd, the last room. By the time you sit in this chair, the Aftercare manager has already rolled extras onto your contract. Paint protection, tint, warranty. That's a separate video. Today's math is what gets done to the loan itself. The rate, the term, a fee called origination. Most buyers walk out of the F&I office lighter by $4,000 to $6,000 on the loan side, on top of whatever the Aftercare desk added. They walk out happy because they don't see the line items. The drive-away price has been agreed. You feel like the negotiation is over. The room you're walking into next is an admin. It's another negotiation with a different person and a different commission structure. And you're walking in unprepared because nobody told you it was a negotiation. The finance manager goes by a few names: business manager, F&I manager, sometimes just the business office. Everyone I worked with was a commissioned salesperson, not a neutral processor. Here's where most online videos still get it wrong. November 2018. ASIC banned what's called flex commissions. That's the practice where the finance manager could mark your interest rate up over the lender's base rate and personally pocket the spread. Pre-2018, that was the game. Post-2018, banned. The lender now sets the rate. The dealer can discount it. They cannot mark it up. If a video tells you the finance manager is going to dial up your rate, that video is running on pre-2018 information. The mechanic moved. Here's where it moved to. The dealer's lender panel writes loans at base rates higher than what your bank would offer direct. On a typical Metro deal, the gap is 2.5 to 3 percentage points. You'd be quoted around 6% at your bank. The dealer's panel writes you at 8 or 9. That's not markup. That's structural pricing. The lender keeps a slice. The dealer earns a flat commission per deal, around $400 to $700, plus volume bonuses. The finance manager can discount from the panel rate, but won't, unless you push. 3 levers post-2018 the finance manager still controls. 1. Origination fee. Sits on the loan as a separate line, sometimes called dealer arrangement fee, finance arrangement fee, establishment fee, pure dealer income, F&I discretionary, range $500 to $1,500 on a Metro deal. Outliers exist where the fee gets pushed much higher. 2. Stretching the loan term, 5 years to 7, same monthly, smaller weekly. You agree because the weekly looks tight at 5. 5 to 7 on $40,000 at 7% adds $3,000 in extra interest. If the rate moves up on the longer term, which is common, add $2,000 more. 3. The cash buyer pitch. Most cash buyers in Australia aren't actually paying cash. They're drawing from a mortgage redraw or a line of credit. The finance manager's job is to convert them onto dealer finance. Sometimes the math holds. Often when you run the full picture with origination plus the rate gap, it doesn't. Let me put real numbers on a single deal, $40,000 financed over 5 years. You didn't bring bank pre-approval. The finance manager opens at 9%. You don't push hard. You sign at 9, your bank, walking in direct, would have offered you about 6. That's a 3% gap. Across 5 years on $40,000, that's roughly $3,000 in extra interest. The dealership earns its flat commission. The rest of the gap is the lender's margin from dealer channel pricing. Either way, $3,000 of yours is gone. Then the origination fee, the finance manager presents it as standard, $1,800 rolled into the loan amount. You see it built into the weekly repayment. You don't see it as a separate charge. The finance manager has authority to drop it to zero. They don't, because you didn't ask. $3,000 in extra interest, $1,800 in origination, round it $4,800. That's the F&I room. Not theoretical, not the worst case. The middle of what plays out in that room every week. The customer who walks out paying nothing extra is the customer who brought bank pre-approval, asked for the origination fee on a separate line and held the line. The customer who paid the full $4,800 is the customer who said yes to 3 things they didn't run the math on. Here's what you can do about it. 4 moves. 1, set the rate floor before you sit down. 2 paths to the same result. First, bring real bank pre-approval to the F&I desk. Not a quote. An approval letter. Specific car. Specific term. Specific rate. This is the single biggest lever you have. Without it, the finance manager has no incentive to discount the panel rate. With it, they either match it or you walk out and use your bank's loan instead. Second path, ask if there's a manufacturer subsidized rate campaign on the model. The Chinese OEMs in particular run aggressive subvented rates, sometimes well under 3%, occasionally under 2%. The catalogue rotates. What's running this month may not be running next month. The dealer doesn't always volunteer it, especially on lower margin variants. Important catch. When you take the campaign rate, the drive-away price often becomes non-negotiable, and the trade-in tightens. Compare the campaign rate path with full RP versus your bank rate with a discounted car price. Sometimes the bank rate path still wins on total cost. 2. Ask for the origination fee on its own line. When the finance manager presents your loan paperwork, ask for it as a separate dollar figure, not bundled into establishment costs, not rolled into the weekly. Then ask, what's the lowest you can write this at? This is a discretion lever. They can drop it. They will, if you ask, in a way that makes them choose between cutting the fee and losing the deal. The default opening is somewhere around $1,800. The floor is 0. 3. Don't sign the 7-year loan. If the finance manager pitches stretching the term to lower the weekly, run the math on the total cost first. On a $40,000 7% loan, going from 5 to 7 years adds at least $3,000 in extra interest. If the rate gets bumped on the longer term, which is common, add another $2,000 on top. The smaller weekly is the bait. The bigger total is the cost. The fix is to ask, what does this loan cost in total over 5 years versus 7 at the rate I'd actually be writing? 4. Defer every add-on insurance product. ASIC's deferred sales rule gives you a 4-day pause on add-on insurance, tyre and rim, GAP, motor equity. Comprehensive. None of it can be bound at the F&I desk same day. Take the pause. Get quotes from the insurer direct. Most of these products are priced 50 to 100% above the same product purchased outside the dealer. The pause is your lever. Use it. 4 moves. 1. Bring bank pre-approval and ask about subsidised campaigns to set the rate floor. 2. Ask for the origination fee on its own line. 3. Don't sign the 7-year loan. 4. Defer every add-on insurance product. None of this requires confrontation. You're asking for the information in a format you can actually evaluate. The dealers are used to customers who don't ask, but the customer who asks quiet, specific questions and doesn't move until they get a clear answer is the one who consistently gets the better deal. There's a free PDF in the description. The 7 lines on a dealer contract you should never sign. Grab that and run the math next time. Next video. The second room. The Aftercare manager's office. The room before finance. Paint protection. Window tint, extended warranty, gap cover, tyre and rim. All landing on your contract before you sit down with the finance manager, different mechanic, and a higher penetration rate than finance. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you found this helpful. I'm Mac on AU Dealer Math.